Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a revisit on YSL's Cushion Foundation. We're going to do a demo, some swatches, and a comparison to the different cushion foundations they have within the cosmetics line and what I think is going to happen to this particular line of product within the brand. So I do have on today YSL's Fusion Ink Cushion Foundation. This is the Encre de Peau. The foundation is actually not available in the States. You can't actually buy it from any US retailers or even online. However, it is available in Canada, in the UK, in Asia. So it seems like it's available pretty much everywhere else in the world except the US. I'm really not sure why that is. What you can get in the States is the Touche Eclat Cushion Foundation. And I'll talk about the differences between these two products in a little bit here. But I do think the Touche Eclat Cushion Foundation is being phased out of the States, if not altogether, from the YSL cosmetics line, because on the US website, it was on sale for quite some time. And then now you can only get this one in a single shade, whereas they probably have 8 or 10 different shades before. Now there's only one shade available. You can still get the refills in various shades, but it just seems to be a very limited selection. So I think they're phasing it out. If that's the case, I really hope they will bring the Fusion Ink Cushion Foundation to replace this one here, at least in the States. In fact, there looks to be a limited edition compact that's coming to Japan. I will try to find a photo and put above, but it has that classic YSL logo with the hardware, and just like their bags and their clutches with that kind of leather and stitching. It looks really cool, and I don't know if it's just going to be available in Japan, but that's supposed to be released in the fall. Moving on to the differences of these two, we'll first start with some swatches. I'm going to go in to the Fusion Ink cushion here. And then we're going to add the Touche Eclat cushion. You can see from the swatches, the Touche Eclat is much dewier than the Fusion Ink. The Fusion Ink has lumosity, and even what you can see on my face right now, I've set it with loose mattifying powder, and it still has that luminous glow. Even if you took into account how I do have highlighter on my face, but everywhere else on my face has this kind of lumosity to it. But the Touche Eclat underneath is actually like a dewy finish, a very soft, light finish. Now, even though on the website it says both foundation is light to medium with buildable coverage, I do think you get more coverage with the Fusion Ink. And maybe it has to do with the dewiness factor, but I find that the Fusion Ink foundation just lasts longer. It stays intact for longer, it doesn't oxidize as quickly over time. So this is something I get good wear out of in a single day. And when I say good wear, I'm talking about 6 hours, you still feel good about what you have on your face, you still look like you have foundation on your face. Which is why I think they're phasing this out, because next to the Fusion Ink, it's just not as popular, even though they don't offer it in the States. I just think people go for their Touche Eclat liquid foundation versus a cushion version of it. Some other differences between these two products: the Fusion Ink is made in Korea and Touche Eclat is made in France. Both you can actually refill. So the compact here, where the actual product sits, you can push it out and replace it. So once you have this compact, it could last you indefinitely, and you can just buy refills. Same thing with the Fusion Ink here. And then you can push this out, this is a little bit more wedged in, and replace that. I really like the idea of it, and With cushion foundations, the great thing about them versus the, liquid foundations or even stick foundations is that you can just take this compact with you anywhere, put it in your purse, and you can touch up throughout the day. Because it is light to medium coverage or buildable, I find that they dry fairly quickly, especially Fusion ink. I mean, let's take a look at the swatches we did earlier. The Fusion ink here, even though it's not set, I'm not getting a lot of product transfer on my finger. Some of it you see in my nail, but that's from the swatch. And for comparison, let's try that for the Touche Eclat. There is more transfer from the Touche Eclat than there is from the Fusion ink, and they feel different too. This feels like it hasn't dried down, whereas this has. And I just think it has to do with dewiness, right? Because it's dewy, you're gonna get a more emollient product. Even though Touche Eclat is more emollient, I have no issues on getting Fusion ink onto my face and feeling like I can work with a product, blend it in, basically stamped it in with a beauty blender. I don't have an issue with that, and I think it sits really nicely on the skin. And both compacts come with sponges themselves. If I'm at home, I'm gonna use my own sponge, but on the go, these will do. So let's head on over to the demo and we'll come back for finishing thoughts. I have concealer and contour on. Now I'm gonna go in with my cushion foundation. I'm gonna use my sponge instead, and I've already dampened it. So we're just gonna dab it on top like this, and then we're gonna go in like I would a foundation. And you can see, while coverage, unlike those full coverage foundation that I have, or that I like, you're still getting a very even application with the sponge. And we'll go in once, and then we'll probably come back in again with a second application because I do prefer more coverage. But I just like how even it makes my skin look. So I think it's a great color match. I did get some sun from the past 2 weeks, and this is again in the color 40. The coverage is light to medium with buildable, and I can probably get it closer to medium. And you can see for the most part here, some of the sunspots that I have is covered up. You can still see some of it up close, and I think it's not a foundation where I can get it completely concealed. But that's okay. I understand that. I'm okay with that going in. Now some of the scarring that I have here from acne, if I do want a more flawless look, but I like the wear of the foundation, I'll probably go back in with a stick concealer and cover that up. But for today, I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just gonna do a light second application here, just stamping the product on. So now we're ready to set it. For setting, I'm gonna first go in and set the eyes first. For eyes, I do have on Pat McGrath's concealer. I've been using that very consistently for the past while. And I'm using also part of her concealer system here, this kind of finely milled pressed powder to conceal the eyes. I'm doing one just like this with a mini cheek from Sonia G's Sky Face Set. And for all over face powder, I do like Chantecaille's Talc Free loose powder. And again, I'll just pour some or tap some into this, which is effectively like a pan. And then I'll go in with an all over face brush, swirl it around. I like to do a one check to see if I have a good layer of powder on. If it still feels a little bit, I guess, tacky to the touch, I'll just go back in with another layer on those areas. Okay, so now with the foundation set, let's take a look here. Before I put the setting powder on, you saw fairly like natural, luminous finish to the foundation. Now that I've set it, there's still that luminosity coming through, but it is probably closer to a matte finish. Not quite like the long wear matte foundations, like the YSL 24 Hours or even the Chantecaille's Future Skin Gel Foundation. And I think that's the magical touch to cushion foundation, is that you can get a very glowy, not necessarily dewy, since not all cushion foundations are dewy, but you can get that kind of like glowing skin look even for a matte cushion foundation. And because I use it during the summer, I tend to associate this cushion foundation with like a natural summer glow to it. But obviously you can use it all year round. And I just really enjoy the finish of it. It also feels lighter than a full coverage foundation. I'm gonna finish up on the eyes. We'll come back for blushes after. For blush, I'm gonna go in with NARS's Overlust, and we're going to add Get Lost. And then we're taking the highlight deep down because it's got that nice golden tone to it, and we're going to add it onto the high points. And then we're actually going to add some more bronzer here from Hourglass's Ambient Lighting palette. For closing thoughts, I wanted to sit closer so you guys can have a look at the finish and the foundation, how it's sitting on the face now that it's been probably 40 minutes from when I put it on till sitting down here. And I think, again, it's gonna last a good 6 hours and not completely oxidize and look like it's broken apart and disappeared on my face. Now, because cushion foundations generally don't have full coverage, some of this acne scarring here or recovering scars and whatnot, that's not going to get covered. So if you require that coverage, you'll need to go in with some other concealer. But yeah, I'm happy to wear this. I think with what I have, it still makes my eyeshadows pop. It still has a very put together look. I'm reminded once again that I really do enjoy this YSL Cushion Foundation, and I sincerely hope they make it available in the States, because right now you'd either have to order from the Canadian website, an international website, or off of Amazon or eBay. If you're in the UK, it is available on Selfridges. I saw that. I was very tempted to order another one, but I still have quite a bit of product left. And if you're curious about the longevity of a cushion foundation versus liquid, from my experience, the YSL Fusion Ink Foundation I've had for, gosh, a year and a half, and it hasn't dried out. Now, you will encounter how the top part of the foundation is going to dry over time, but the secret is flipping that sponge to the other side, and you're good to go for maybe another 6 to 8 months, depending on how often you use it. So while it doesn't have as much product as a liquid foundation just sitting very nicely in a bottle, you can still use it for quite some time. If you use the foundation every single day, I think you might get 2 months out of it, something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. If you are a lover of cushion foundation and have recommendations for me, please share with me below. I'm glad I got to talk to you guys once again. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.